Hello and good morning, doctor. My name is Queck Bun Lim and given metric number is AN 2087. I'm a student of engineering technology in automotive. First of all, why do we study science material as an engineering student? From my view, science material is not only study about a material of an object, but we truly understand the properties of solid material and how those properties are determined by the material composite and structure. Okay, let's talk about experiment 2, which is the porosity and density. In industry sector, different type of object has different kind of density, and they usually apply on water or even seawater. For example, ship can float because there is ballast tank that hold air. This air provide a large volume of little mass, thus decreasing the density of the ship. Together with the buoyant force that exerted on the ship, this reduce the density, enable the ship to float. In fact, submarines dive below the surface of the water by emptying their ballast tank. In my opinion, porosity and density is important for us as an engineering student to completely understand how an object float on the water or even higher density. Perhaps we might eventually build an aircraft that will float in the space one day. Who knows? As you can see, almost all of the transportation, they use the concept of density to supply cargo or even heavy type of material. It doesn't matter of how big the mass is. As long as the ship density is lesser than the density of the water, it will eventually float. This is why boats are made of denser material than the water will float. Even though a single block of the material will sink, the whole structure has a lower density than the block because it contains a lot of air and less dense material too. For example, like the recently news on the star, that the oil spill, you heard that, right? Both of them are liquid, but why the oil is floating on the seawater is all about density. The application of porosity and density are determined by the Archimedes test. It can be shown by how a body is at rest in the fluid is acted upon by a force pushing upward is called the buoyant force, which is equal to the weight of the fluid that the body displaces. As I mentioned earlier, a ship that floats in the seawater is because of the buoyant force is acting from the water. So now we can calculate the safe depth of the ship. The benefit of this experiment is allow us to understand why an object floats and when it's placed in a fluid, and by calculating the relative density of an object that we might even use in our daily life. Have you ever wondered why you can float in the seawater and sink in the lake water? Well, that's all because of the density. Now, do you get why science material is so important? Science material, well, it might be more than just a subject. Thank you.